I see you doing Icarus recoil over there.
No.
Yeah.
And I just, in my head, I just see the freaking sign right at the beginning.
What's hilarious is I freaking knew what it was, too, just from you doing the freaking...
I guess that's the ending.
That's the ending, yeah. Because the ending was better than the intro.
He always downplays my answers. It makes me feel bad.
I'm sorry. But you're all like, I bet you picked her. I'm like, oh, no. I don't mean it like that.
It's like, oh, disgusting. How dare you have your own opinion?
I'm not trying to yuck your yum. You like what you like.
You're yucking my yums.
Sony chants like,
He's just struggling. He's like, Yamate. Okay, we'll see you guys in just a bit.
Yamate.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the end of the year, or actually the beginning of the year, because this goes out January 6th.
Yeah, get wrecked, everyone.
And today we are going to be going over the previous year, 2022. I was going to say a month, but it's the whole year. Anyway, today is Life Is Daijoubu, episode 15, the 2022 year in review. Today, we're going to talk a ton of anime. We're going to talk so much about all of these different shows that came out in the past year. And we're going to go over our favorites, openings, our favorite characters, our favorite stories, animation, and all of the above, culminating in our anime of the year. So there's a lot to look forward to. You guys excited?
I can't contain
Clearly
it.
not. Just kidding.
We're getting paid to be here.
I'm nervous, guys. I'm so nervous.
They ain't so nervous he forgot to put socks on.
I don't know
No,
what's going to
I
win.
told you, I'm the Paul McCartney of the group.
Wait, Paul McCartney doesn't wear...
No, the
Shoes?
Abbey Road
Then
cover.
you need to grow
Oh.
your hair out really long and grow facial hair.
Isn't Paul McCartney the
Play the part.
guitarist?
Yeah, something
And he
like
sings.
that. And
He sings too? Who's the drummer that doesn't wear
Ringo.
shoes?
Ringo.
No,
No, not the drummer from the Beatles.
Oh.
Who's the drummer that doesn't wear shoes? There's like a famous drummer that doesn't wear shoes.
There's lots of drummers that don't wear shoes.
yeah.
Oh, really?
The Def Leppard drummer who only has one arm doesn't really wear shoes. I mean, he probably does, but a lot of the videos I see doesn't wear shoes.
Maybe when he's walking around, he does.
Probably. Are you saying this individual just doesn't wear shoes ever?
No, I'm just going all
Oh.
over. I was just stringing you along right there.
There's an anime about that, I'm sure. If not, I want one.
Kiedis never wears a shirt, usually, from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
The Red Hot Chili
Anthony
Peppers, they
Kiedis?
wear socks
Yeah.
over their dilly dongs.
Yeah, that too. They even mocked Abbey Road. What's the
With
word?
dilly dongs,
Spoofed it. Yeah, with the
their
dilly
willies out.
dongs over their
cock
with
sock.
socks.
They
Yeah.
call it the cock sock.
Well,
Don't know if
anyway,
you have to censor that.
I probably fine. I'm not going to censor it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so before we really get into the meat and potatoes of the show, we wanted to go over some, I guess, house cleaning. What do they call it? Is that right?
Both.
Housekeeping? Same
Housekeeping.
thing. And we're going to talk a little bit about the show as a whole, and then some of the stuff we're going to be doing in the future. So the first thing, just to really bring up, is that the show for now is going to stay in the same format where it's bi-weekly. Every other week we're going to go over a specific anime or manga. No, excuse me, not manga. I don't even know what I'm thinking.
Maybe we'll slip it.
Who knows? Maybe one of these days we'll do that. But for now, it's just anime. I mean, that's the whole point of this part of the show is we're talking about the potential and what could happen with the show in the future. So for now, we're going to do that. If you want to see something different in the future, let us know in the comments. Or if you want us to watch a specific anime, let us know. Or if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask us as well. And we can answer them either in the comments or on the show or whatever works best.
And we do look up the anime before we watch it, so no yabai stuff, all right?
We're also going to be doing special episodes here and there as we go. Our very first episode of the show was our anime 3x3s, and I imagine we'll probably get to the point where we redo that episode, where it's not just like we'll probably like have new tastes, I guess, and new stuff. I don't know. Regardless, anyway, we're gonna do other things as well, like our manga 3x3, for example. Our potential backlog episode that Skylar was bringing up last time. I thought that was a really good idea, so we'll look more into that. But that pretty much covers the show in general. The next thing, and we've been bringing up every single episode for the past week and a half, that actually, never mind. This part doesn't matter because it would have already passed. I was going to mention that the last episode of Chainsaw Man bonus episode was delayed a week, but this comes out after that episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode,
it's
huh,
a great
everybody?
Great episode. Man, it was...
Yeah, I love the part where Denji got married.
Yeah, he's crazy. I love
Yeah.
that part.
Wait, that didn't happen in the manga. What the hell?
they just end it. They have an abrupt ending.
He's
Gets married to Makima and she wins.
Who wins in this situation? I think Denji wins in that
Yeah.
situation. Wink, wink.
Bark.
Bark, bark. Stepped on. So that's Chainsaw Man, and because we're ending that show, we have other things planned in the future. But we also might do more of these as they come out week by week shows in the future. We don't know what that would be or when Chainsaw Man Season 2 is going to come out, but most likely that's the next one on the docket for that specific treatment of a bonus episode.
Well, we do have one lined up.
Well, it's a little
Yeah,
different. It's
yeah.
not quite the same.
And I think this one, it just lined up because we had all read the manga and there was a lot of hype around the anime.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot of things that aligned with that for us to do it. The stars really did align there. And so if something like that happens in the future, we might do it. But up until Chainsaw Man Season 2, potentially, that's probably the next time we'll do a week by week as they come out bonus episode of the show. But here's the big reveal for our podcast going forward. So we do a bi-weekly upload schedule. And because of Chainsaw Man, we've basically been doing it every single week and sometimes even twice a week. And to replace Chainsaw Man going forward, we're going to be doing a Pokemon anime watch-along. Starting from episode 1 and going to episode insert number here. I think it's like 1,100 or something like that.
Yep, we're watching them all in 1 week, so we start cramming.
You better start cramming. You got 2 weeks to do. No, we're kidding. So the structure of that, what it's going to be is every single episode we're going to cover roughly 5 episodes of the anime. As this comes out, I will be releasing information on both our Twitter and our YouTube community tab that will essentially tell you what episodes we're going to be watching for the month or for the next 2 months or whatever. So you'll be able to follow a schedule and not fall behind and not miss an episode when you listen to our show. It'll be explained a little bit more as well on the Twitter and the community tab. I almost forgot what it was called. We're also going to be doing like extra bonus episodes of that occasionally where I guess they won't be bonus episodes. They'll just take the space of a normal episode, but it'll be like extra episodes where we cover like the movies, for example, and the band / not localized episodes. We're going to be covering those at some point too. But for the most part, it's just going to be chronological order, all of the North American released versions of it. I know I'm going to watch it dubbed. I don't know what you guys are going to do, but personally, I'm going to watch it dubbed.
I think we both know what I'm doing.
I think we both
Probably
know.
just watch it dubbed to keep consistency.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see some of the differences here and there, but I've literally only watched Pokemon subbed recently with the new stuff. I basically only watched dub, though, in the past, especially when I was a kid, obviously. There's no other option at that point. But, yeah, so look forward to that. I don't know the exact date of the first episode, but it'll be coming within the month of January, I believe. So within this month that this episode is released. So that will be fun. That will be exciting. And like I said, roughly 5 episodes a week. So you'll have our normal show where we go over just a specific anime. And then we'll also do the Pokemon episode. So it's probably going to be roughly, 17 episodes of reading or watching homework for our shows if you're going to watch it every other week.
Yeah.
That's the gist of that. Let us know if you got any questions or if anything you'd thought about with that in mind as well. But now it is time to finally get into our 2022 anime recap. And before we really start, I know I keep just teasing, you keep stringing it all along. We listed out a bunch of shows that came out this season just to kind of refresh your mind, refresh your memory, so you can recall some of the shows that even came all the way back in last January.
These are like the bangers.
Yeah, so we're obviously not listing every single show. It's the popular ones, the ones that were like on the top 3 rows of Mal with their rankings, their user scores. So, in no particular order, we've got Demon Slayer Entertainment District Arc / season / whatever you want to call it. Attack on Titan 2 Season 4 Part 2. My Dress Up Darling. Spy X Family. Kaguya-sama Season 3. Rising of Shield Hero Season 2. Summertime Rendering. Call of the Night. Overlord 4. Lycoris Recoil. Chainsaw Man. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. My Hero Academia Season 6. Bleach 1000 Year Blood War. Blue Lock. Gundam Witch from the Witch. Is it the Witch from Mercury or just
Yeah.
Witch?
The Witch from Mercury.
Gundam The Witch from Mercury. Ranking of Kings, specifically the latter half of the season.
Part 2.
Yeah, which came
Second
out,
core.
I believe,
whatever
spring.
you call it.
Springish. Spring?
Winter. It came out winter.
Oh, winter. Okay.
Because it was like a from fall to winter
Gotcha.
show.
Then JoJo Part 6, Stone Ocean,
Stone Ocean, yeah.
and Bocchi the Rock, and any others that you could think of during that. I mean, there's plenty of others as well that we didn't list. These are the big popular ones.
You forgot to list Biscuit Hammer.
Yeah, insert name of anime we forgot to list there in the comments. And now, speaking of Mal and their user scores, I compiled the top 3 anime of the year from Mal according to Mal. I basically went through every single season and just looked at their user score and organized them into their rankings. So coming in at number 3 is Bocchi the Rock. I should have wrote down the number it got, but it was something like 8.93 or something
nuts.
like
That's
that.
crazy.
Number 2, I believe this is like 9.13. It's over 9. I know this one's over 9 now.
It's over 9,000.
Number 2 is Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 3.
Ultra romantic.
Ultra romantic.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. There's the tagline as well. And then number 1, I think this was like 0.0, what is it, the hundredth place?
Yeah.
200ths higher than Kaguya-sama was Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War, coming at number 1. So that's
The
Mal's
show we didn't watch.
Yeah, for real. That's Mal's anime of the year. It's interesting because I've never really watched Bleach or looked anything into it. I've heard many people say it's good, and it's one of those shonens that maybe someday I'll get to.
I watched some of it back in the day, but I never got past the Soul Society arc, and that's very early in the series.
Really?
So, yeah.
How many episodes is it total? Do you know?
I don't
Same
remember.
was telling me. I think it's in the like 200 or 300s maybe.
So it's nowhere Naruto
Yeah.
sized.
Yeah. Chapter length, it's like almost 700, like 600 something.
I see.
Yeah.
Is this the last season they're doing of it? Like,
yeah, this is the last arc. Like
this finishes the
before
series.
the anime ended, and there was one more arc in the manga that Taikubo was still doing, but I think Bleach had lost its popularity, so there's like, let's put the anime on hold.
And so then they just
so it's
finished
finished then.
Yeah, the manga's finished. He's doing Burn the Witch.
Yeah.
Whenever that's gonna come back.
I know that started releasing the manga anyway. It started releasing in America physically a couple months back.
Yeah, and we're waiting. Everyone's waiting on a season 2, whenever that'll be.
Yeah.
They're in seasons.
That's a spin-off, basically.
Yeah,
It's in the same world or whatever.
Yeah, so like the one shot, like it looked like its own thing, and then at the end, like they showed a sign that said Soul Society West Branch, and I was like, yeah, this Bleach. It was what they call the Soul Society.
I know, like in
Yeah.
English, the Burn the Witch logo, like if they emphasize the letters that spell
Yeah.
bleach
Yeah.
as well in
Yeah.
the logo anyway. So that's kind of neat. Fun facty for you there. Okay, now we're gonna start getting into our actual awards for the season. So the first thing we're gonna start out with is Best OP of the Year, Best Opening of the Year. And I think we all kind of did this a little differently. Personally, I list my things like first, second, third, and I rank them that way. I don't know what these guys did. I don't know if they picked 1 or 2 or whatever. I didn't really have any specifics of what you should do. Maybe that's something we change in the future going forward to be more uniform. But regardless, I did mine ranking, so I'm just gonna. That's what I'm doing. I guess. What did you guys do to pick them?
I've got 3 as well.
Oh, you got 3 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you just pick, like a 1 or like 1?
I wrote down 1, but I have a couple I also liked.
You want to?
for-
If you want to bring them
endings.
up, feel free
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So I'll go over my top 3, starting with the bottom. Best OP of the year. Number 3, I have Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2. This was the rumbling.
That one slaps.
Oh man, it's so good. That it's honestly, I think a lot of that reason I picked that was mostly because the song's just freaking great, but also just the history I have with Attack on Titan as a whole. So it's super fun for me. Number 2, I've got Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 3, which is I think it's called Giri or something like that. Really, really good one. That's a fun one. The animations are fun too, and I freaking love the dude that makes those openings for Kaguya. And my number one pick for OP of the year is Skeleton Knight in Another World.
Let's go.
Yeah, kind of a random pick, but holy cow, is that song absolutely incredible. That song is so good, and I felt like it deserved the number one spot. Not to mention, the animation is actually pretty decent for that opening.
Well, it's kind of confusing because what I've written here, you said Uncle from Another World.
Those are recommendations.
Oh.
Those
go
aren't my
check
those
out.
aren't my actual picks.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, here, you can kind of look at this one maybe.
Oh.
I feel like I just never explained that well enough to you guys.
Yeah,
My
it's
bad.
like I was like confused, like what? But yeah.
So Skeleton Knight, like, man, I know. So we did an actual episode of anime book club episode on that show, and I described it during that episode that the opening seems like it's its own episode. It's like its own self-contained episode that essentially tells a story within the span of the entire length of the opening. And it reminded me heavily of Konosuba's openings, which do a very similar thing, which is another reason why I liked it a bunch. But man, this song just really kills everything, and it's the reason why it was number one is because of the song specifically. Super good. Thane, what are your favorite openings of the year?
So I didn't write it down, but I'm gonna try to hammer in my mind. Number 3 was I think Chainsaw Man. No, wait. Sorry, scratch that. I guess I'll put that as number 4, Chainsaw Man. I like that. I like that one. Number 3 was Mob Psycho 100, season 3. Pretty banger.
One and only one?
Yeah, one and only one. And then number 2 was Attack on Titan. Number 1, a opening that actually got me emotional every time I watched it is Ranking of Kings.
Oh, dang. Yeah. So that one was one. I imagine if you watch the show, it hits a little harder.
Yeah.
I could tell just by watching it that it was probably like that.
Yeah, it's a great opening. It just it's
The song's good too, from what I remember when I watched it. Skylar,
Nice.
what are your favorites?
Well, I feel like us three are cut from the same tree at times. My number 3 was also Attack on Titan, the opening. I love the opening, and also just watching that show week by week is just, oh man, very suspenseful. I can't wait for it to finish. Number 2 was Skeleton Knight from
Let's
Another
go,
World.
Skeleton Knight.
Yeah, it's also really good, but I love the song. I think the reason I rank this one a little bit lower than my number 1 is because I liked the number 1 story and show just a whole lot better. But my number 1 favorite OP was Demon Slayer. I love the Demon Slayer season 2.5, whatever it is.
Whatever it's called,
It's
yeah.
the Entertainment District arc.
yeah.
Man, the animation is so good. I love the song. It's just fun, man. Demon Slayer is fun.
Ever since Fate Zero, Ufothal's been like, I'm here. Look at me.
Yeah, we're here.
I
we're
am
here,
God.
we're
And then
here.
Mappa's like, no, I'm God.
So, over the last 3 days, I watched the entirety of the Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc, and I agree with a lot of the stuff Skylar said. I did not think the opening was as good as he thought it was personally.
No, I really liked it.
Yeah, it just didn't vibe with me. It didn't nothing can beat Grinch for me. Like the first opening for Demon Slayer is so
Well,
dang
if
good.
you're comparing it to that one, of course.
It's hard not to compare to the previous ones in my mind though.
I see.
And so it's just knowing what it could have been, I guess, is kind of where I was with that one. But still not a bad pick at all, no doubt about that. And a lot of it is the music. The music kind of sways. It's pretty good at the music.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have best ending of the year. Yeah, we're starting with two of the big ones anyway. Two of the big categories. So I'll go ahead and start again. My number 3 ending of the year was Lycoris Recoil. And this one I had a very large debate in my mind all day about between this one and Engage Kiss. And this one just beat it out by nose because I like the song a little bit better. I think the animation in the Engage Kiss ending is a little bit better, but Lycoris Recoil's song is much, much better. And it feels a little bit more emotional and meaningful to the actual show as a whole. My number 2 favorite ending of the year is Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 3. I feel like this is going to be a trend for me. Love is War essentially had 2 different endings. One of them was like a special ending that was like a rap thing. And a lot of people loved that one. And I thought it was cool. It had some fun animation. But I personally didn't like that one as much. I prefer the actual ending over it. One, because the animation in the ending is actually surprisingly good. It has no right being as good as it is. It's almost like its own episode of the show. And then the song's pretty good too, but mostly for the animation with that one. But then my number 1 favorite ending of the year was Chainsaw Man ending number 1. That one it's very heavily the song on that one as well. But man, it's just a fun one. I just discovering the band Vondi a little bit earlier and then realizing that ending 1 was by them was a big deciding factor for that one for me, but it's really fun.
Vondi's also Ranking of Kings.
That's right. Yeah. I noticed that too when I was watching them, when I was watching the Ranking of Kings opening one. So let's go ahead and go Skylar this time. So Skylar, what was your favorite endings of the year?
Oh gosh, there were so many, but I think the 2 that I really liked. I mean, I could just pick Chainsaw Man because we got 13 different endings, but. I think I like Chainsaw Man the best, specifically for that. I guess I'm not just going to pick one. But the other one...
that's right. You cheated. Yeah. You don't just pick one.
The other one I really like, though, too, is Attack on Titan's final Season 4, Part 6, whatever, ending. It was great. It was fun. So, yeah, I only picked 2.
That's fair. Thane, what are your favorite endings?
Number 3, I would have to say, is Ranking of Kings, the second ending, because... At first, when you watch it, it seems just kind of disconnected. It seems like just a little fun animation. Then after the final episode, after you watch the final episode and the ending plays, it almost works as an epilogue. And I'm like, wow. Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's like, it's very meta almost.
Yeah. And then second one is Attack on Titan. I think that was pretty good. And then the first was Call of the Night. Really like that song.
The song slaps.
Yeah.
And High Dive even used that song a lot as like an advertisement for their own like platform for a bit there.
Yeah.
Like every time you'd get onto YouTube and get a High Dive ad, that was the song that was playing.
Dang.
So, and the animation in that ending's really good too. Shame I didn't like the show. Rip Call of the Night.
Wait until we pick it for.
If you guys pick it, then I'm forced to watch it, so I guess I'll do it. So if you ever get to that point where you pick it, then I guess I'll finally finish it. All right, let's move on into Best Soundtrack of the Year. So this one specifically it's got a little bit of like a couple connotations in my mind, the reason I selected this category. It's not only songs that are just good in general, but maybe it's something that got stuck in your head. Maybe something that like you, I guess, quote unquote, played in your head even after listening to it. Heck, maybe even added some of the songs to a playlist on Spotify or YouTube Music or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of how I went about doing it. And so I'll start with this one again. At one of these points, I'm going to switch up and make one of these guys start, so they're going to catch them off guard. But for me, my number 3 for best soundtrack was Demon Slayer Entertainment District Arc. Demon Slayer music is always just phenomenal, and I think that's one of the main reasons I've liked this show, like in the past, like Arc, the past season one, and then the movie as well. And all of the music in Demon Slayer is just so good. It's very emotional and it's very heavy on leitmotifs, and it really hits hard with the specific emotions because of those leitmotifs. And so it's the whole package in my opinion.
I think it's pronounced leitmotif.
It's leitmotif.
Are you really?
Yeah, leitmotif. I'm not French. I'm American. I can say how I want.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's also got that Japanese aesthetic to it, too, at times. Yeah. Where you're like, this just, it fits the world that it's in. It fits the world
perfectly, dude. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I nothing else to say about it. It's just great. It's good. My number 2 for best soundtrack was Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Now, there's 2 songs that really hit for me in this show. And I feel like everybody kind of jumped on board with those songs. But you have the opening song, "This Fire" by Franz Ferdinand. I've listened to Franz Ferdinand in the past, like Take Me Out, but this is the first time I realized, or I heard this song, I guess. And I was addicted to this song for about a week, and I put it on multiple playlists and listened to it over and over again. But then the number one song has to be the "I Really Want to Stay at Your House." That's the name of the track, but it's the emotional song from the show. And I found this very interesting. All of the music in the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime is from the game itself. And I started picking up on this with some of the songs. I didn't really recognize it right away, but then there were some songs I'm like, wait a second, I've heard this before, and that's what it was. It's because it's in the game. So that really influenced me picking that one as well. But my number one for soundtrack of the year is Bocchi the Rock. No doubt about that. So we recorded the fall 2022, was it 4 days ago on Sunday, and today's now Wednesday. I not only watched all of the Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc, I also watched all of Bocchi the Rock within that time span as well. And wow, is that a fun show. That's a great show. Highly recommend that one. But man, the music is really spectacular. I found out that all of the in-anime band, I don't remember what it is in Japanese, but it's the zip tie band, or that's what they're called.
Kasoko or Keisoku or something like that. But it translates to the zip tie band. And so I found them. They actually have like all of their music released as well, and so you can put those into playlists. And I've been listening to that. I slowly been getting into more Japanese like pop rock as well. So this was right up my alley. Good show, phenomenal music. Thane, what was some of your favorite soundtracks of the year?
You know, I didn't think about it as hard because I don't really pay attention to music. I'm usually just pay attention to visuals. And there is some great music over the past in anime. But the one interesting about the Chainsaw Man anime is that, like, it seemed like every month there'd be like a new side album released on Spotify. So, and it seemed like the composer created like a new track for each episode. So every time there'd just be a new like little album on Spotify. So I like Chainsaw Man, some of Chainsaw Man's tracks.
Yeah, along with that, I noticed that Mappa on their YouTube channel uploads all the music as well.
Yeah.
I guess specifically the endings anyway.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool.
Also, I liked Witch from Mercury. Every time you have a next episode, you hear the it's like just get you excited. It's like, oh, I can't wait. Then there's I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure specifically for Jolene's theme. And also when Jotaro comes in, it also plays his theme. And it's like, wow. I would say I like Part 3's soundtrack more because of Jotaro's theme. But yeah, I like JoJo Part 6. And also Golden Kamuy. I like the adventurous soundtrack because it's like a western. You go on a big adventure for gold.
Wait, that's the whole point of Golden Kamuy? They're looking for gold?
Yeah, they're looking for gold.
I had no idea.
A massive amount of gold.
I feel
apparently.
like we've talked about this before, but
that's basically like the western influences. We're on the search for gold.
Interesting.
Are they in California?
No, they're
in 1949.
No, they're in Japan. Sometimes at one point they go to Russia, but then they go back to Japan.
They go to One Piece. They find the One Piece.
Wrong show, but okay.
Skylar, what was your favorite soundtracks of the year?
So once again, I reiterate the fact that more specifically, Cole and I are cut from the same tree. We have the same freaking taste in lots of things. So my number 3 was Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Okay. I love that type of music, the freaking synth wave, vapor wave. I mean, what do you even... How do you categorize
vibes? I categorize
vibes. I guess I could say
vibes.
Cyberpunk was good for me too.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Good for everybody.
It just ticks a lot of my musical boxes. I'm a big sucker for synth, and there's a lot of that in Cyberpunk. Number 2 was Demon Slayer. I love the Demon Slayer soundtrack. There are points where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel so immersed in this world, I might start crying. It's really good. And I mean, I don't need to reiterate it any more than we already have. And then my number one was also Bochi the Rock.
Go.
It's got like the pop punk, the rock. It's just got all of it. And I remember after like watching every episode when they're about to play a show, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for the song. And then sometimes it's just like, boom, and then it cuts to the next scene. I'm like, we missed
Where's
the song? Yeah, it's really good. I think Bochi's it's a fire soundtrack. If you haven't watched the show, at least go do yourself a favor and listen to the soundtrack.
It's on YouTube and Spotify.
Yay.
All right, so before we get into our next category, which is best story, we are going to take a quick break to let our camera cool down. It hasn't hit the overheat sign yet, but I imagine this show is going to be extra long compared to our previous show, so we're going to take another break. We're going to take probably 2 breaks throughout the show so we can make sure the camera doesn't die. Anyway, we will see you guys in just a second. And we're back from our break, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into the next category. Best story of the year. So this isn't our best favorite show. I bumped the mic. Sorry if you could hear that. This isn't our favorite show or anything. This is just the stories that I guess were very compelling to us and very...
They vibed with us.
They vibed, the moving, yeah, and all of those words. Resonate. That's the best one yet so far, actually. I like that one. These are the stories that resonated with us personally. So... Skylar, what are your top 3 or your favorite stories of the season?
Okay, this was very hard because there was a lot of banger anime that came out this year, lots of really good stories, but the 3 that stood out to me the most, and I'm like taking into consideration like characters, themes, the plot, the actual story itself. So for my number 3, I picked My Dress Up Darling. I love the theme of just being unapologetically yourself. I think it's something that I've struggled with my whole life, and that is like the main theme of that story is just learn to be yourself, and you'll find people that will accept you for all of your weebiness. Like my friends here, friendship.
Oh, I have 5 Skype thing for you.
Thank you.
He was so into it too.
So that was my number 3. My number 2. My number 2 was Licorice Recoil.
Let's go.
This story slapped. I feel like this anime came out of nowhere. I saw it on Mal when we started doing the show. I was like, it's girls with guns. I think that's probably something I'm gonna like. I did, but the story also was really good. I don't want to spoil it, but that one is it's just a wild ride. That's I'll leave it at that. It's a wild ride. But my number 1. It got me really emotional, and it has a lot of good themes that I really like too. It just hit on all cylinders for me was Demon Slayer.
Ooh.
Demon Slayer was really, really fun for me. At the second to last episode, or maybe the last episode, I can't remember, but I like teared up a little bit. It was like 1 a.m. because I couldn't stop watching. And I was just in my bed all by myself, just like tears coming down. It's really good. Demon Slayer's story, man, I really, really liked it. And it's got a lot of really fun themes that I very much vibe with.
Nice. Thane, what were some of your favorite stories for the season? Or for the year? I've probably been saying season, haven't I? Sorry, for the year.
Some of them, well, I definitely liked Ranking of Kings for its simple yet effective story about a little dwarf boy who's also deaf, wanting to be the king, and seeing his journey go through that. Very emotional, very touching. And then we got Golden Kamuy. Still fun, still just a fun little adventure. Got characters you want to root for, and some that you thinking, well, they're pretty bad, but you know, in some ways, I guess you could justify it what they do. But you're definitely still rooting for the 2 main characters because they're the good guys, obviously. Then Cyberpunk, very deep, psychological, emotional story
with great world building. Too.
Great world building. It's taken straight from the game because it's actually from the writers of the game. Yeah, it is. And the director, who's not known for his stories, more for his style in anime, the guy who directed Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill, But he was able to pull it off with such an amazing story and able to do it his own style. I really like that. But my number one story, personally for me, was Chainsaw Man. That's just got this deep world. Like it's set not in modern day, but like in 1997. That's pretty unique. And then it's
very dark.
Where
very dark
people
story.
just integrate into have demons almost integrate into society. Like they're treated like wild animals, and people just hunt them. They found ways to hunt them. It's very unique, and also Denji's quest to touch boobs is more compelling than you think. It's more of a metaphor for him trying to find his humanity when it seems like he's lost it. That was my favorite story this year.
Awesome. Yeah, I honestly agree with a lot of what you said, because my number 3 pick is also Chainsaw Man as well. And I think a lot of this has to do with because I did such a deep dive into Chainsaw Man for me this year. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have picked it. I would have picked something else. But, man, it's just super interesting to see somebody realize what matters in life, especially to them personally. Because everybody kind of finds their own thing. And Denji was able to find his own thing in his own way. It's interesting. Really good, too. Number 2 for me, though, was Mob Psycho Season 3. Man, I really love Mob Psycho. Such a relatively unique story, mostly because the main character is so different than typically any other shonen out there, really. And Season 3 just really kind of hits your heartstrings a little bit here and there, especially those last couple episodes.
Did you watch the last episode?
I watched it before this, yeah. I finished it.
Thought it was great.
It's really good. Very, very happy. I teared up a little bit at the end of that one, too. But my number 1 pick for best story is Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Did I say 2077 before? Or did you just say Cyberpunk?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Edge Runners is the anime.
Yeah, Edge Runners.
Yeah.
It's Thane hit on a lot of it. It's really just different. It's very different storytelling, but it's also relatively realistic. It's like rooted in realism, but with a very varying world and diverse just cast too as well. Because every person's very different in their own way, and it's all of these things kind of wrapped in one. But the emotions behind that story that are tied to it are very, very deep and very, very profound. To me, anyway, I really, really enjoyed them. Moving on to our next category, we have Best Animation of 2022. Once again, this is not necessarily our favorite show. This is just our favorite art styles / way things moved on those pictures, the pictures that are flashing and stuff. So I'll go ahead and start with this one. My number 3 for best animation is Urusei Yatsura. And I said a lot about it in our previous episode, the fall recap episode. But to reiterate it, it's very, very colorful. Very, very impressive with how colorful it is, and very interesting to see the different way they adapt the manga, their very old manga as well, into a very bright and colorful world. And I've never read the manga myself. I've never even watched the original version of the anime either. This is my first time into the series, and so it's super cool just to see it with fresh lenses, I guess. Really good. Really, really pretty show. Number 2 for me is Cyberpunk Edge Runners. And Thane talked a little bit about it with the people that did Gurren Lagann, or roughly
It's Trigger.
It's Trigger,
Yeah.
Studio Trigger, and
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia.
Yeah,
Those
they've got a very unique
Yeah.
art style, and I think it did so much for the cyberpunk world. And then to add on to the fact that Cyberpunk really implemented a lot of the visual elements from the game as well, like user interface elements, that really bumped it up a level for me in my mind. Very, very cool. I really enjoyed that. But my number 1 for best animation is Demon Slayer. And Ufotable just knocks that out of the park. It's really hard to beat that one. It's just gorgeous. Every episode looks like it's a movie, and you can actually compare what a movie would look like for them because they made one, and they made a couple with the Fate stuff as well, but specifically the Demon Slayer movie, and that looked great. And so each episode of the anime itself looks not as good, I would say, but pretty dang close. And it's it's just beautiful. Like the lighting, everything really just goes into it and makes a beautiful show. Thane, what are your favorite animations of the year?
Glad you asked. Cyberpunk was really good. But Mob Psycho had a very unique art style to it, and is very and it looked rough around the edges, but the studio, whichever studio it was, I can't remember. It was Bones.
Yep, Studio Bones.
They made it work. They made the manga artist, they made his very simplistic and very rough art style flow very well. And I think it looked great throughout the whole thing. And then number 2, I'm gonna have to say Witch from Mercury. Yeah, let's do Witch from Mercury. Sunrise is just good. They've been in the game for years, and every time a new Gundam comes out, they said put all the budget into there, and they do. They do. The CG, like, so I don't remember too much CG, but if there was, I couldn't notice it because they always hire the best people to do their CG. Speaking of best CG, Chainsaw Man, just nothing comes close to any year. Like Demon Slayer, probably. I didn't watch Demon Slayer though, but I see some of the animation is just insane. It's like, this isn't an anime. This is out to like declare war on all animation, in my opinion. Like, some shots are like so fluent, it doesn't really look like the standard anime where it's like the 30 frames a second style animation. Most times they do the full 60, or at least don't make it look as choppy as what anime looks, because it has that usual choppiness, but they kind of took out the choppiness, just made it look fluent. This looks so good. That's my number 1.
So that one's actually my number 3, was Chainsaw Man. Like Thane was saying, like the mixture of CG and animation is really freaking cool. And right now I've been watching a lot of shonen-esque shows with lots of fight scenes, and Chainsaw Man's up there. Like, it just stands out so far and above a lot of what I'm watching right now, where it's just like, dang, dude, it's bloody, it's gritty, and it's great. But my number 2 is Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Pretty much ditto what Cole said already. Like, it looks great. It's really cool. The world's immersive, and the art style completely reflects that. So, really good. But my number 1 is also Demon Slayer. You just watch it, and you're just completely in awe the entire time. It's like there's not one frame out of place, where it looks so good. The fight scenes are incredible. When they use all of their breathing arts, it is just like, you never see that ever in anime.
It's like an interesting clash of animation styles, but it works.
Yeah,
it works really well.
Totally. And it's like Cole said, it's like watching a movie. Every episode is like watching a movie. It feels so cinematic. Like, there's one scene specifically I'm thinking of where they're in this village area that's just, everything's on fire, but it looks so freaking good. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, they do a shot where it like pans and shows the area that they're in, and there's just fire and colors and sadness, and it's great.
I wanted to point this out, and I'm going to keep it vague, so that's not going to be spoiler-esque, but minor spoilers for Demon Slayer. There is a nice ending shot of one of the episodes that the camera slowly pans out over the entire credits, and you're just seeing an entire area, an aftermath of an area. And it like goes from dusk to nighttime, and it is so freaking good. And it spans the entire credits. Yep. It's beautiful. It's really, really cool.
Also, I'd like to nominate Cyberpunk, or at least give the award for Cyberpunk for best gore. Chainsaw Man almost had it, but it felt a bit subdued at times but Cyberpunk went all out with its gore.
Best gore?
Best gore.
Maybe we could add those as a category.
Yeah.
We could add like best trash of the year, worst show of the year, best gore.
I like best trash. That could be good too.
That's a website. Best Gore is a website. One of those gore websites where you watch actual people die.
Oh, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll name it something different.
I guess an honorable mention.
Best violence.
It's been so long since I've seen the show, but from what I remember, Attack on Titan had some pretty cool animation and fight scenes. because that's also
did it have
Mappa,
good
isn't it?
gore? I
Yeah.
mean, I know one scene where it was pretty gory.
It's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but I feel like Chainsaw Man's more gory than that, though.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. Chainsaw Man shows the gore. I think Attack on Titan's more like you see it, but from a distance
Cyberpunk,
almost.
it relishes in it. I think.
Yeah.
There's just that one scene I remember where they shoot a hook, goes through a guy's head, and it's
Yep.
only like 3 frames. But even pause it, like there's so much detail in those.
You
3
see
frames.
all of the guts go over the
Yeah.
car, and it's
Yeah.
just like, who did they pay to do 3
Yeah.
frames of that? Like, come on.
And also that scene where the guy, they just made it slow mo where the guy goes in the tires and just gets ripped in half. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty dang gory. I
Yeah.
think the reason why I would put that one higher than Chainsaw Man is just because of the detail of the gore,
Yeah.
whereas Chainsaw Man is just
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So what?
There's even a scene where it's like he chops off a head, it rolls, but there's like no blood, and it's a zombie, so it's
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So moving on to our next 2 segments, we have Best Boy and Best Girl. So tell us your best boy, and then tell us the name of the anime that they're from if we don't
Yeah.
happen to know them. I'll go ahead and go first. My best boy was Miyuki Shirogane from Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 3.
He's a
How-
good dude.
How could I not pick that guy,
He's a
right?
good dude.
I freaking love that series. I can't not pick Miyuki. He's so good, dude. I really thought about all the other boys. I'm like, they're all just angry boys and horny boys. I'm like, I can't not beat Miyuki.
if you don't know, he's the black-haired guy on the cover right there.
No.
Oh,
Miyuki's
sorry.
blonde.
Sorry, Miyuki.
Ishigami's the black
Ishigami.
guy.
Sorry, I was thinking.
I love Ishigami,
Yeah.
Ishigami, but Miyuki. He stole the show. He's the main character. He's got it, right?
Yeah.
Also, if we had a category for best couple, would it go to Shirogane and
Oh, hands down.
and
Hands down goes to
Or
them.
what's
It would.
Kaguya's
It would.
last
It would
name?
go. Never mind.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it would go to the Forgers from Spy Family, but they're
They're
fake.
It's a fake.
know.
Best fake romance, but it could turn to real romance. Hasn't gotten that far in the manga.
Ooh, finger. Skylar, who is your best boy?
This was a toss-up for me, but I picked one that I related to the most, and I say that loosely because it's also an anime character. But I picked Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good boy.
Yeah, he's a very good boy. I like his attitude towards things. He's got that Naruto attitude of never give up. But also he's a very forgivable person. He's got a lot of attributes that I really like, but he's just a
Forgiving person, not
forgiving.
forgivable.
Yes, excuse me. He's a very forgiving person.
He's also a bit smarter than most shonen protagonists,
For
although
sure. Totally.
not that smart.
I would disagree. I think he's probably one of the smartest shonen.
Yeah,
Maybe like Gon from Hunter x Hunter might be a little bit, but like he's still a kid. He's
Yeah.
much younger than Tanjiro.
Yeah, when you watch Demon Slayer, you're like this. He doesn't do anything that's really that stupid. Where you're like,
Most things he does is very calculated.
yeah.
then again, he does
totally.
have a hard head and just can.
Headbutts
There's a lot
Yeah.
of headbutts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanjiro's my best.
The reason
boy.
why I say kind of not that smart because he's still not acclimated to civilization. Like when he sees a train, he's like, "Oh
That's
my god,
true.
it's a train!
That's true.
What is this?"
That's a
thing?"
good
Or he
point.
says, "Oh my god, what is this thing?"
That's a good point. He's
Yeah.
he's loud
He's a
at
he's a
sometimes.
hick. He's a mountain hick.
He's a country bumpkin.
Yeah.
Saying, who was your best boy of the year?
My best boy was the boy who had everything against him, but he rose to the ranks, and I think that was the best. And it's Boji from Ranking of Kings. He's deaf, so he can't hear anything, but that doesn't stop him, cause
he's a gamer.
yeah, like he tries his hardest. In the first episode, he has an affinity for combat, but he can't hit very hard. But later in the show, a teacher says, "Oh, I got just the thing," and he gets a little needle sword that hits pressure points, so it knocks people out. So he becomes overpowered in a way.
I love how you described that he rose through the ranks.
Yeah, because
Very, very on
Yeah.
the nose there. I like it.
and also he was cursed from birth because this is going spoiler territory, but so it won't. But he got a curse, and so everything literally was against him. But he hasn't gone through the rankings yet because We haven't seen that part yet. I think that's later in the manga, but
So can I predict your best girl?
Okay, before that though, it's time for the best girl category. I don't think you'll get it. I don't know, but you might.
Go ahead.
You don't want to
Well,
guess?
I think you just picked the power couple.
I did not.
Oh,
pick
we
the power
threw a
couple.
curveball. Then we probably have the same one.
Best girl is not Kaguya. Best girl.
Wait. Let me go first this time. Let me go
Okay,
first.
Skylar, go for it.
My best girl was Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling.
Oh, no, I wouldn't pick Mari. Sorry, Sky.
I think I know your other one. I really like Marin, and this goes back to the
Mari's not bad, but
how I was describing. He always downplays my answers. It makes me feel bad.
I'm sorry. But you're all like, I bet you picked her. I'm like, oh no. I didn't mean it like that.
It's like, oh, disgusting.
I don't
How
wanna-
dare you have your own
I'm not
opinion?
trying to yuck your yum. You like what you
You're
like.
yucking my yums. I think she's got a really bubbly personality, and also it goes back to that fact where she helps the main character be unapologetically himself. So she's slowly like showing him, hey, I'm really hot also, but like just be yourself. And life's a lot better when you're just doing things you like and not give a f about what other people think. So she's best girl.
That is a good reason to have her as best girl, Sky.
And she's hot.
She's pretty hot.
She's hot.
Thane, who was your best girl?
my best girl was Suletta Mercury from Mobile Suit Gundam.
The
Which
red hair one?
Yep. Some would probably pick the white hair one, but I think the red haired one. I think the white haired one's named Miorne. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's okay. You don't need to remember her. She's not best girl.
Yeah, I know. Suletta Mercury has more personality about her, and she's also the underdog. But she's nuts at flying a Gundam, even though it's AI assisted. But thinking later in the show, it'll probably be like she'll probably lose the AI, and then she'll have to manually control, and it'll probably be like, oh wow, I'm pretty good at this. But also, she's Kobeni. She's like Kobeni, where she stutters a lot, and she's scared. But when it's time to shine, she actually she doesn't need a freaking adrenaline rush to do the job. I like her. She's cute.
All right. So my best girl
Does it start with a C?
is Chisato Nishikigi from Lycurus Recoil.
I figured.
I can't, dude. She's just so good. It was really close with her and Taki, to be honest. I won't deny, but Chisato, she's just John Wick, but a cute anime girl. You can't beat that, dude.
And she's got such a good
And
outlook on
she's such
life.
a good person.
Yeah.
That really helped her. Just being a good person. Really, it was really good. She definitely best girl for me.
Wait, is she the blonde or the?
She's the pink blonder. I guess it's blonde, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's only pink in some pictures, but yeah, blonde hair girl. Takina's the black hair girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Takina's really cool too, but Chisato won out. This one was a hard one for me, I won't lie, because Kaguya-sama also aired this season, and so I was like, I Hayasaka. But then it was like she didn't do a ton in season 3. She did have some moments, but not a lot, so had to be Chisato. And with that, we're going to take another quick break so we can let our camera cool down. And after that, we will be finishing up the rest of the list.
Sony Chan's like,
He's just struggling.
Help me.
He's like, Yamate. Okay, we'll see you guys in just a bit.
Yamate.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are now going to finally finish the show. We've got a couple more categories left, and we are going to start with our favorite manga of the year. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be something that started this year, something we finished this year, or any of the above. It could just be anything that we read this year. And I didn't rank these ones either. I just have 4 that I chose that I really liked during the span of this year. I'll go first and just kind of, I guess, show you guys what I mean by all this stuff that I just said. So some of my favorite manga this year was Frieren Beyond the Journey's End. I started that, I believe, around this time last year, so right at the end of the year, and every single time there's a new volume that comes out, I just love it, and I'm very excited every time it releases. And I'm also very excited for the the confirmed anime in the future. Next, I have Oshinoko, and this one's got 2 reasons why I'm really happy with it. It's just a good story in general, and then 2, it's also because it's written by Aka Akasaka, which brings me to my next manga, which was Kaguya-sama Love is War, written by Aka Akasaka, which ended this year, and I was incredibly sad when it ended because I love it, and now there's no more weekly manga from that one. But hey, we still have Oshinoko, so it's not all that bad.
Oshinoko anime and Kaguya-sama anime coming.
True. We're going to have a movie,
Movie.
the movie, and then the anime too.
Yeah.
But probably my favorite manga of the year is something that ended this year, at least in the States anyway, because the final volume was released this year, and that's Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku. Dang, dude, what a great freaking manga that is. It's by Fujita, and it's phenomenal. I highly recommend it to everybody. It's relatively short. It's only 11 volumes, or 6 volumes in omnibus format in America, or North America, rather.
Does their Virgin Road end? What's the thing for the Virgin Road? Like,
I don't know what you're talking
Is it
about.
bang?
I think it's marriage
Is that what
or
you're
something.
asking?
Marriage or banging.
I don't know what that is.
Virgin Road, like the end
Yeah.
of your career as a virgin.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they didn't talk about that in the manga, so I'm
Oh,
not sure where he's
no.
getting at.
No marriage. Well, I'm asking.
Well, yeah, they get married and stuff.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He asked in a very weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
so
bang.
no virgins.
No, it's just people.
I think if you're a nerd, you'll really like this show. Like
Oh,
if you
it's so
like
good.
if you like video games and anime,
Your virginity will burn harder.
it's a manga. Sorry, it is an anime, but you could read the manga.
The anime roughly covers, I think, the first 2 volumes or the first volume in North America. But those are some of my favorite mangas that I read and finished and started this year. There's plenty of others that I read and started and finished all over this year too, but those are the 4 that I could think of that were my favorites. Skylar, what were some of your manga favorites?
So I'll just do a couple like you did. Dorohedoro was an anime that we actually watched for one of our Life Is Daijoubu watch-along episodes. I really liked the anime, and Thane just so happened to be collecting the manga at the time. So I think within like 2 weeks, I binged all 22 volumes.
24.
24 volumes.
24.
It was a fun ride.
I think there's 23.
23.
Yeah. And they get thicker as they go.
Yeah, they're big boys. I love the characters. I thought the story was fun. The world is really weird and wacky, but I was in
Just
for
like
it.
how Nikaido gets thicker as she goes.
It's also 18 plus. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it ranked. You see boobies,
Yeah.
Boobies.
You
boobies
see,
and blood.
You see Ebisu's nipples, so
You see
go
butt
complain
cracks.
on Twitter for that.
And then the other 2 that I really liked. Obviously, I really liked My Dress Up Darling. After I watched the anime, I went and binged the manga on that one, caught up to it. That one's really fun. Like I said, it's a story that I really vibe with. I love the messages. But I think one of my favorites that I started recently and pretty much binged the whole thing. It's still being released, but there's probably only a couple chapters left based upon where they are. But it's called The Duke of Death and His Black Maid. That is a fun ride. The chapters are like 10 pages long each, so it's relatively short, 10 to 12 pages. But that one's like kind of got a different twist on a more traditional rom-com, and it's also got some fantasy elements of like witches and magic and stuff. So it, once again, ticks a lot of boxes for me. But I was reading one of the last chapters while I was at work the other day, and like this powerful moment hit, and I was just like trying not to cry while I was sitting in the lobby at work.
Try not to cry challenge at work.
Yeah, literally.
Impossible.
That
it's
some little
fun.
kids could be like, "Why you crying?"
Yeah,
But I guess you in the break room.
it's
so-
like wholesome and sexy all at the same time, and it's great. I love it. It's a fun
And
one.
sexy.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to read this manga. Thane, what do you got for us? What are some of your favorites?
So I only wrote one down. It was One Punch Man.
Oh, did you get caught up this year?
I've been caught up for a while.
Oh, you just really liked it this year.
Yeah, I thought the fight. There's a big fight between Saitama and, well, it's not that big of a spoil. It's against Garo, and I'll just say that it's galaxy wide.
It's a pretty good
Those
fight. I read it too.
those panels are insane, and it's like this guy is the best. He's the king of manga animation.
Is it Yusuke Murata?
Yeah, Yusuke Murata is like
Quite the artist.
Believe this guy. He thought he was dying at one point, but that doesn't stop him from literally drawing this insane artwork.
He really is a king when it comes
Yeah.
to drawing. It's incredible. It's beautiful.
And
And he draws a lot of sexy girls too.
I guess
Let's
if I
go.
have to,
That's a win.
He knows it too. He makes them the cover for no reason.
Yeah.
They're like, this girl's not even in this chapter.
Yeah.
Here's a hot picture of her.
He's like boobs in the thumbnail. They'll
Yep.
get people to click.
That's what it is.
just like what Horikoshi did with the Invisible Girl. Toro, yeah.
I don't think she. I really don't think she was in that chapter. Not even in the arc either.
Yeah.
That's why it was weird.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, one, see what Toro, I think her name is Toru.
Here's her
looks like.
face. Also, she's naked.
She's naked.
Ugh.
But if I had to pick one weekly Shonen Jump, since I'm pretty much reading all of them, I did start Hunter x Hunter. I haven't caught up. I really like reading it again. But I guess I have to say the easy way would be One Piece. I really do like One Piece where it is. Yeah, some people say it's hectic and chaotic, but that's the charm of it. It's just
Vic
good.
said it's made for people with ADD because it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
all
it
the time.
is. It's sometimes it's hard to follow, especially the Kaido arc. But the actual Kaido fight between Luffy and Kaido was fun, especially towards the end. And this new arc, we're just getting into the final arc, and it's gonna end like probably within the next 4 or 5 years. Within the middle of the decade, we're gonna probably finally see a conclusion.
I
a long
don't know, like
time.
chapter 250 or something.
Wow, you got a long way to go.
Guess what chapter I'm on?
Zero.
-3.
Oh, I'm probably on like chapter 3 or 4. I watched the first episode of the anime.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, anyways, I'd say if you have doubts, just give it a read, a few chapters. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it's so long. You don't have to read the whole thing. Just read a few chapters to see if it's your thing. I know some people will say that, but then they'll read the whole thing in like 2 weeks.
That's definitely something that
Yeah.
I've backpedaled on. I've always
Yeah.
been against longer form shows and manga, or I guess
Yeah.
just longer forms of entertainment, but I've definitely backpedaled on it.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool thing, especially if you're
Yeah.
a fan of that,
yeah.
because then you're just getting more of that. And it's
Yeah.
something that I know at least Cole and I have talked about a lot, and you already said it in the show, it's always sad when things that you like end.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you're a fan of longer running series, then you don't really need to worry about it ever ending. You're just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I just keep getting more of what I
Especially when
like.
it's shorter. Like when it's longer, you'll still be sad for the ending. It's like, well, it's finally over, and what a journey. But then the shorter stuff, it's like, I want more.
I went more.
One Piece, I'll finally be glad it's over, but I'll kind of miss it. Part
Still a
of me
couple
miss
more
it,
years
yeah.
though, right?
Probably.
4 or 5 years, I'm assuming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
But hey, who knows? He might throw in a crazy plot twist.
So our
Oh.
next category
Oh.
is... Oh, you had another thing?
I had one more, sorry. For a retro pick.
It's just interesting. You
Yeah.
started with, I only had one. Also, here's 3 more.
No. I only picked One Piece as second, but the
He
third
definitely
one
reads
was
the most manga out of
Oh,
all.
no
of
the
them.
doubt
third
about
one
that,
was
yeah.
Berserk. I've been reading Berserk. I haven't been caught up, but it's just a masterclass of storytelling. And I hope that the people who took it over will be able to finish it off. Also, Heavenly Delusions. That's an anime coming out. It's good. Read it. I just say read it. Like, story was like at first, like, there's one part more interesting than the other part, but then it merges in such a way that I never thought would, and it blew my mind. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice. All right, so our next category is, and this is specifically to us. I guess you guys can have this in category for yourself too, but it's more geared towards our show in general. And it's our favorite anime club episode of the year. And we've only done half of the year at this point, but I still feel like we've got a good amount to pick from that we could choose our favorite. So for me, it was a bit of a toss-up, but I ended up going with our Gurren Lagann episode. Specifically the first one. I really, really liked the first one. But then the toss-up was also the Castlevania episode that we just did. I extra liked that one because I got into this show, this series, and I kind of did some research on it, and that was extra
Yeah.
fun for me. But if I had to pick a number one, it's definitely the Gurren Lagann episode.
Yeah, ditto. That was my favorite one too.
Gurren Lagann,
Yeah, it's just a fun story, and
I like Gurren Lagann Part 2.
the second
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
I think I liked the first part. I was with you at the first. I mean, the second part was good too. Don't
Oh
get me
yeah, yeah, they're
wrong.
both great.
Yeah, I just think the show for me peaked in the first half.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun, though. It was really, really good discussions, I thought, for those episodes. I think, honestly, the discussion for the second half was better overall because it was more divisive, whereas the first half, we're all just jerking off the show.
Yeah.
We're just like, this show's incredible. And the second half, it's like, yeah, this was good, but I don't know why they did,
Yeah.
that was cool about that.
So out of all the shows that we did so far, which one would you say was our favorite? Which is our personal best? Like, out of all the shows we picked.
Oh, like our favorite show that we
Yeah.
picked? It's got to be Gurren Lagann, right?
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's also the only
Yeah.
two-parter we've done.
Yeah, it's because it was a
Yeah.
little bit of a longer show, but
Yeah.
even within the first part, I knew it was going to be like one of my
Yeah.
favorite ones that we've done so far.
Totally.
Honestly, like I said, I liked Castlevania more than I expected. And a lot of it because I just did more research on it. I'm glad we did Fooly Cooly. That would have been my third pick just because I'd always wanted to finish that show, but after doing it, I'm just like, yeah, it was an interesting show. That's about it.
Yeah.
But Gurren Lagann's
I would
definitely
say
the
it's
best show.
of its time.
Definitely of
Yeah,
its time,
yeah.
yeah. The animation's very interesting. You can learn a
Yeah.
lot from that, from Fooly Cooly, but the actual like plot and everything, I just no clue what was going on, but not bad.
I think Bochi the Rock, without Fooly Cooly, we wouldn't have Bochi the Rock, because Bochi the Rock just has an out there.
Yeah, not only that, but like there's a lot of
Avatar.
there's a lot of influence on from other things for Bochi the Rock as well. It's like it's interesting how much things influence other things. Like you
Yeah.
even brought up Avatar as well. Like Fooly Cooly definitely influenced both Bochi and Avatar, so it's super cool. All right, so our next category is an honorable mention category. It's specifically we can pick 1 to 2 shows that we liked during the year, but we didn't really bring up during this show because it just didn't hit our favorites of any of these
Yeah.
categories. And so for me, my number 1 pick for this that didn't necessarily hit any of these categories, but I definitely think you all should go watch it, is Uncle from Another World. Now this is a fun show. It's very funny, very comedy, and it's such a unique, interesting take on an isekai. The general synopsis of it is this dude's uncle was isekai'd when he was, I think 17, something like that, and he came back from being isekai'd and is back in the real world, and he's essentially retelling his stories to his nephew and his nephew's love interest / girlfriend thing. They're both great. I love them. I love all the characters in this. It's super fun seeing the uncle's stories in the isekai world, and it's just hilarious too because all of these like stories are rooted in modern tropes, but back then when he had been isekai'd, a lot of these tropes really hadn't become mainstream, so he didn't recognize them. Like the funny one, the most reoccurring one is this tsundere girl that really likes him in the other world, the isekai world, and like the main boy is like, what are you doing? This tsundere wants you. And he's like, no, she was just mean to me all the time. It's super fun. I highly recommend that one if you guys are looking for comedy or just an interesting isekai. If you guys like isekai and want a unique take on it, that's one to pick.
I think for mine's a little bit harder I guess it's more of an investment, but I feel like the payoff is worth it. Is My Hero Academia, the newest season? I believe it's season 6. Season
Yeah.
6. My Hero for me has been like a roller coaster. There are parts where it's just awesome. It's firing on all cylinders. And then there are parts where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm literally having to force myself to get through this. But right now where it's at, this arc currently is, I would say, the best arc of the whole series up to this point anyway. There's lots of intense action. There's story elements still being introduced where it's like, holy crap, why did I not see that coming? But like I said, it's more of an investment up to this point. But if you have invested your time with My Hero, it's well worth it for season 6 anyway. So if you are caught up and just haven't started season 6, you really should, because this is the best arc of the anime so far, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation, Thane?
I don't know. It feels like I brought up every show I've watched, but I guess I have to say Lucifer. I'm just kidding. No, no.
Hard no.
Manga, maybe. Yeah. I'd say the manga's better. But, gosh, I have to say, like, shows I didn't praise enough. I did really like JoJo. Over the years, I have noticed the pacing's a bit rough because it's trying to adapt everything, and sometimes it'll be standing there talking as an attack's coming at them. That's kind of my pet peeve with that. But it is really a fun ride. This last part was pretty crazy. And I hope that part 7 will just be uber ultra insane.
Part 7 still Ball Run, correct?
Yes.
I think when that starts airing, I'll watch that along with you.
Yeah. If you want to, you can look up a summary of all the other parts. Cause,
Do you need to know them, you think?
Some details.
Gotcha.
But, like, it's a whole new universe.
Yeah,
so
that's why I wanted to jump in with that one, because I've
Yeah.
heard only good things about that one.
It's like kind of a new beginning.
Exactly, like a reboot almost.
Yeah. But I like JoJo. I was surprised that they did have the last part this year, because people thought we're gonna have to wait a whole another year for the last part. But no, Dave Productions, while they were working on Urusei Yatsura, just threw it in there. It's like, wow.
That's crazy.
And
That's a lot of work.
And Golden Kamuy, I didn't bring up because it's not finished. It did have to, unfortunately, cease production because one of the main staff died, but it's coming back in April. And I hope that they'll have a announcement that season 5 is coming out soon, because manga's over, and season. What I assume is that season 5 is probably be like the last bit of the manga that they'll adapt. But yeah, Golden Kamuy, I totally recommend. I think that's about it. I've mentioned a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Anything
Cool.
else I watched? Oh, I guess Raven of the Inner Palace. I thought that was a pretty fun show. It's not the most amazing show, but for a Chinese setting show, it's not a Chinese production, but I think it's a Japanese production set in China. I think it's pretty okay. But that's yeah. That would be my actual honorable mention.
Cool. All right, so our next thing that we're going to talk about is anything that we didn't watch this year that caught our eye and maybe somewhere in the future would like to give it a shot. So I've got 2 specifically. This was even reinforced because Thane started watching it, but I've always wanted to watch Ranking of Kings. Ever since it came out, I've only heard good things about it. And Thane started watching it, and it made me want to watch it even more. And at some point, someday down the road, I'll probably get to it, and I'm excited for that one. But the number one that I am most interested in that I never watched this year was Summertime Rendering. I am very interested in that one. I love time travel. I've had the manga on pre-order for over 9 months on Right Stuff, the hardcovers, and they just keep getting delayed. I've thought about canceling them multiple times. Supposedly on the 27th of this month, they're coming out. So if I get charged, I guess I'll get them and I'll read them, and we'll see if I like it. But I'm really interested in that show. Those are the ones that maybe somewhere down the road we'll do an episode of this show for it too.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. What do you got, Sky?
So my 2 is Mob Psycho, just because, well, 1, it's finished, but you guys have been praising it up and down. So
Yeah, imagine a guy who didn't watch Mob Psycho. I'm just kidding. I crammed it all before this show.
yeah, so Mob Psycho's up there, and then I think the other one is just Overlord. We I think season 4 came out this year, and we watched the intro for it. It looked really good. I thought the song was all right, but the intro looked really cool. The animation was awesome, and also it just one of those shows that ticks a lot of my boxes. I love fantasy. It's one of my favorite genres. So yeah, I'll probably get to that one someday.
Awesome. It is a good one.
Have you watched it?
Wait, which one?
Overlord?
Oh, I was still thinking Mob Psycho. When you said it, I just kind of started thinking about it more. Sorry. You're right, Overlord. I've also heard many of the same things, and there's been one of our buddies that really brought it up to us.
Yeah. What about you, Thane?
One of the shows is appears Bochi the Rock, because I just see a few videos and I see when the animation goes crazy. I saw a clip on YouTube once where she's like, "Wow, I feel like a block," and then she turns to like a 3D object and Blender just thrown into a bunch of blocks. It's like,
hilarious.
wow. Then I also got Spy Family. I want to watch that, the anime, because it looks fun, and I like the manga. I looked up the scene where Anya punches Damien. That was
it's awesome.
it's one of the best scenes in the manga. Then I got LaCroix Recoil, or LaCroix, however you pronounce it. LaCroix Recoil.
Licorice.
LaCroix Recoil, because it's cute girls with guns, and they slaughter people. I bet the slaughtering isn't much of an emphasis. It's more the espionage or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
You see it.
you see it sometimes.
Yeah.
Main girl Chisato, her whole thing is she doesn't want to kill,
Yeah.
so she uses rubber bullets.
Oh, okay.
But everybody else doesn't. She's the only one that does. There's a lot of slaughtering from
Yeah.
other things that aren't her.
And finally, we got Kaguya-sama, specifically season 2 and 3. I already seen season 1, especially with the chin chin bit.
Chin chin?
Yeah.
I'm just like Kage. I have to laugh at that too. It's just funny. Wieners.
So I think Chin Chin means wiener, but doesn't
Yeah.
Chi Chi mean papa or something?
Something
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
it's too close.
I imagine
it's
that's
too
why
close.
it's close. Is because it's
Someone has to have made the joke.
Because
somewhere.
dad equals
Yeah.
wiener.
Yeah.
probably. So
that's about it.
so the next list that we have to go over is our most anticipated list for the year of 2023. One more thing before we get to the ending. We have our most anticipated. And I'm just going to run through them. I got 6 of them that I am very excited for. Emphasis or very, very excited can be kind of hit or miss with some of these. I'm just curious about, to be honest. But for the number one that I'm most excited for is Mushoku Tensei. I freaking love this show, and I'm so excited for season 2. I cannot wait for it. I'm also very excited for Oshino Ko's anime adaptation. Super excited for Konosuba Season 3. Free Ran Beyond Journey's End is going to be so fun. And then Classroom of the Elite Season 3 is also going to be exciting because I liked the ending of the last one a lot too. But the one that's not super excited for, but very interested to see what it's going to be about is MF Ghost, which is from the creator of Initial D. And it's like almost a passing the torch sort of sense. So I'm curious to see if it's any good. I know there's a manga, but I've never read it. I've never read Initial D either. I've just watched all the shows. So that's what I'm curious about. Anything you're looking forward to, Thane?
Does that MF stand for motherfucker?
I always think that, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's what it stands for.
Probably stands for manufactured. I don't know.
I have no idea. It might be one of
Manual
those things.
function. I don't
He just
know.
never tells us what the MF stands for,
Yeah.
just like how he never told us what
probably
the
a
D
car
and Initial
thing.
D stood for.
Yeah.
It's Dream, by the way. Spoiler.
Initial dream. Yeah.
Go watch the show.
Okay. My most anticipated is Witch from Mercury Part 2, because they're doing the split thing where it's like you have to wait a whole season for the next. Can't wait for that. Then I got the Heavily Delusion anime. Looks really good from the trailer. Got Vinland Saga 2. And then we got the Golden Kamui official continuation and hopefully maybe season 5. I hope. And then Attack on Titan, the final season, and of course, well, actually they haven't confirmed it. Chainsaw Man 2, but they haven't confirmed it for 2023 because they got like 50 million other projects they're trying to work on. Mappa, that is.
So my 2 biggest ones I'm looking forward to is also Attack on Titan. I have not read the manga, so I don't know how it ends.
I read it. I wrote it on my notes as final.
Yeah, final season.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. And then the other one I'm excited for is actually the Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime movie. I've never read the light novel. I've never read the manga. I've just watched all 4 seasons of the anime up to this point. Really, really like it. So I'm excited to see how the movie turns out. And I also need to look up if it is its own like spin-off side story or if it's a continuation of the actual storyline. So
I'd like to watch that show someday.
yeah, it's fun.
There's a lot of seasons though, so it's kind of lower priority on my mind.
Oh, it's an investment. Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, guys, it's time for the moment of truth. We're going to be talking about and I guess revealing rather our favorite animes of 2022. I will go ahead and start out. starting with my number 3. Man, I gotta say real quick, this was hard to pick.
Yeah, this was
Honestly,
hard for me too.
I didn't think it was gonna be that hard, but really looking at everything, I think it was pretty dang hard. So overall, my list, like, I'm really happy I was able to represent a lot of the stuff that I liked. But my top 3, it's very, very, like, these are the best of the best in my mind, just like number ones. Anyway, number 3, we have Chainsaw Man. It's probably on your guys' list as well, I'm going to assume, but it's my number 3. It's really good. We've talked a lot about it, as you can tell from all of our bonus episodes. Number 2 is Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Such a freaking good show. Looks great, sounds great, story is phenomenal, super, super good. But my number 1, of course, had to be Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 3. How could it not? I freaking love that series so much. It's really one of the big things that got me into reading manga, just in general. I mean, there was other things, but Kaguya is really what made me realize, I can stay up to date by reading weekly online. And so, without Kaguya-sama, I probably wouldn't be addicted to manga as much as I am. I love that series, and I'm sad it's over. But the anime is great, and there's a new movie coming soon, so looking forward to that. Skylar, what are your favorites of the year?
So I think I'm gonna shake it up, and I'm actually gonna make Chainsaw Man my number 4, throwing a curveball to everybody.
I see, that is a curveball.
Yeah. I really like Chainsaw Man. It's really hard not to pick it because it's just so good. It looks good. The story's really fun. We've read the manga too, so that's kind of another reason why I'm probably going to do that this way, but also just to change it up. So my number 3 was Spy Family. I think Spy Family is phenomenal. It's fun. It's cute. It's got romance and jokes and spy stuff. It's really, really fun. So that's my number 3. Number 2 is Cyberpunk Edgerunners. That one was really fun, like Cole already said. And that's one I binged. I think I watched the whole thing in 2 days. A lot of fun. Thank you, Netflix, for doing it that way. But my number 1 anime of the season, and I'm sure... Of the year. And I'm sure everybody can already predict it, but it is Demon Slayer.
Oh, man.
Demon Slayer was so good. And you also have to keep in mind that the Mugen Train also came out this year too. Granted, the movie released a couple years ago, but people that didn't see the movie got Mugen Train and the Entertainment District, which are, I mean, the Mugen Train movie in and of itself is just absolutely incredible. It's breathtaking at times. It'll make you cry. And then this season of the Entertainment District, same freaking thing. It looks beautiful. There are so many heartfelt moments, and it's just, man, Demon Slayer did it for me. Really did. And honestly, confession, I didn't watch it until about a week ago. So
hey, I watched it yesterday. So.
Yeah, I literally thought, I was like, well, Demon Slayer is supposed to be one of the best anime, so I need to watch it so I can have like a good palette of stuff. But it ended up being my favorite.
Didn't you have a thing where you went to watch the movie thinking it was some kind of filler movie? You didn't realize it was canon?
I knew it was canon.
Oh, I'm talking to Sky.
It's, what is it, 2 years ago that we saw the movie?
About a year and a half ago.
That's what Cole told me. He said, like,
maybe. I don't remember.
He came in thinking it was like a filler movie, like a My Hero, but it actually was canon.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past me, though.
Yeah.
Then what were your favorites of the year?
Well, number 5 was Arcane. I'm just kidding. I didn't watch Arcane.
Arcane wasn't even this year.
Yeah, it was. It was 2021. Hey, Game Awards. What's up with that? and Cyberpunk over here is like, oh, the misery. Now number 5.
You doing 5 or 3?
I get, yeah. I just say 5 or 5. I don't know.
If you can't think of it, just go to 3.
Let me collect my thoughts. Okay, so here's
just do 3. Just do 3.
Hold on. Here's some honorable mentions. There's JoJo as an honorable mention. Witch from Mercury is an honorable mention. Mob Psycho is an honorable mention. Now here's my top 3.
There you go.
Number 3 was Cyberpunk. It's like proves that video game adaptations
can be done well.
Yeah, and faithful, very faithful, and in a medium you never expect. I think at one point there was even like the arc weapons. I don't remember, like the auto tracer weapons. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
you definitely did that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one guy had it. Was it? Oh, it was Falco. Not Falco. It was the suit guy, the guy voiced by
Oh,
Gus Fring. He had
Yeah,
a
that guy.
tracer weapon.
mhm.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name either.
yeah.
Anyway,
Faraday. That's it. His name was Faraday. He
how
had
do
a
you
tracer.
remember that? Oh
He had
my
a tracer
goodness.
And then number 2 was Ranking of Kings. Stay good, feel good anime with the deep story. It's just but it's not for kids. I will warn you that it may look like it's for kids, but there's some moments where you're like, you would never let your kids watch this. Number 1 is Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Number 1 is it's the Elden Ring. For me, it's the Elden Ring of anime right now because it's winning all the awards in my show. Well, it's our show, but it's my categories.
Your categories.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our show, everybody. Thank you guys for enjoying the year with us. But before we go, it's time to announce what our next anime that we're going to be watching. Now, you'll have 2 weeks from the airing of this episode to watch it, which this episode is on the 6th of January. The next episode will be the 20th of January. So by the 20th of January, you'll need to watch Violet Evergarden.
I've been meaning to watch that one.
Well, there you have it. That's what I picked.
Isn't there a season 2 or
There's
just
a movie. There's a movie.
Welcome to
We're just-
Tearsville.
We're just watching season 1, and we're going to cry our eyes out. Skylar's
Yeah.
seen it, I know. Sorry I picked it that you've already seen it, but
No. It's awesome. I love this show. I
I'm-
really do.
I've always wanted to watch this show, so I'm excited
I
to
love
pick it.
Kyoto Animation.
Sorry about the Netflix after Netflix after Netflix as well, everybody. I just
Hey, but
realized
it's
that just
okay.
now,
Kid,
but
You could, if
Yeah,
you don't have
yeah,
Netflix,
maybe.
you could watch.
yeah,
it on
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah,
sites.
probably something
Yeah.
like that. Whoa, that's crazy. Netflix is a streaming site.
Yeah, Netflix is a legal streaming site.
Anyway, that's what we're going to be looking forward to. We'll see you guys in the coming future. Once again, the Pokemon episodes will be coming out. We'll let you know. Probably not till halfway through January, if I had to guess, maybe earlier. We'll see when they get out. But thank you guys again for watching. We hope you guys had a phenomenal year and look forward to your 2023 year of anime. And I hope we all hope you guys have a great life. See you guys on the next one.
Bye.